Hello and welcome back to Shakesyear. We are working on Sir John Oldcastle, and we get to hear from Sir John, the Parson of Wrotham today in this silly little Act 3, Scene 4 that we have going on. So in the grand scheme of things, we have a bunch of people who are going to be gathering at Field so that there can be a battle essentially between the church, the Roman Catholic Church, and the Proto-Protestants, with King Henry being on the side of the Roman Catholic Church and Sir John Oldcastle being on the side of the Proto-Protestants. But the two of them are still kind of sort of friends, and they don't want to think ill of each other. Sir John Oldcastle has gone. He wanted to warn the king that people want to kill him, and the king is like, no, John can't be involved in all this stuff. He's an upstanding citizen. So all of that is going on. Field is going to be this big thing that we're working towards. In the meantime, in Act 3, Scene 3, we had a little bit of a lover's spat between Sir John the Parson of Wrotham and his girlfriend slash concubine Doll, where she accused him of being jealous, and he's like, oh, but you're going to leave me because you'd rather have other people. And then they come to an agreement and settle everything down. He's like, yes, honey, I'll take care of you. We'll always have money. She's like, didn't you spend all the money? And he's like, no, I still have some money left. And as long as I have my knife, we can get money from anybody that we happen to run across in the road. So at the top of Act 3, Scene 4, we first had King Henry giving some instructions to his men, like close the gates off to London and nobody's allowed to move around except for people who have special passes, special permissions, these sorts of things. But then he disguises himself because he wants to go be able to see what the Proto-Protestant side is doing without being recognized. And as soon as he is in disguise as someone lesser than the king, Sir John, the Parson of Wrotham, comes in and robs him, holds him at knife point, says, give me your purse. He's like, I don't have a purse. They finally come around to, the king gives him some money, like 100 angels, and he's like, you know, go ahead and take this now. And there's more conversation, and John says that he thinks that the king should be nicer to thieves because he used to be a thief in his youth and everything. And as part of this agreement that, like, the king, who John doesn't know is the king right now, will pardon John if they ever meet. They broke one of the coins in two, so they each have a half of it and can remember who the other person is if they ever get into a sticky situation. So King Henry is like, yeah, sure, you know, if I ever see the king and can pardon you, like, I would pardon you. And John was like, well, if you ever happen to be in my neck of the woods, just say the name Sir John and I'll make sure to take care of you. So King Henry leaves, King Henry in disguise leaves, and we just have Sir John the Parson of Wrotham and Doll standing there now, and John turns to her and says, oh, my fine golden slaves, here's for thee, Wrench and Faith. Now, Doll, we will revel in our bower. This is a tithe pig of my vicarage. God have mercy, neighbor Shooter's Hill, you paid your tithe honestly. Well, I hear there is a company of rebels up against the king, got together in Field near Holborn, and as it is thought here in Kent, the king will be there tonight in his own person. Well, I'll to the king's camp, and it shall go hard, but if there be any doings, I'll make some good boot amongst 'em. And that's the end of the scene. So he starts out just turning to Doll and saying, see, I told you I could get money anywhere. Now we're going to go, like, let's go party it up tonight. And he's like, you know, I've heard that there's going to be this battle at Field where the king is rumored to show up too. And if the king is there, then a lot of his men are there. A lot of them are going to have money. So I will go and see what I can steal from the king and his men over at Field, and hopefully we'll get a really good payday out of it. So he already robbed the king 5 minutes ago, and now he's planning to go rob the king and his men again, but this time maybe knowing that it's the king that he's robbing instead of not knowing because the king is in disguise. So all sorts of silliness in Act 3, Scene 4. We will eventually get to Field. When will that happen? Come on back tomorrow, and hopefully we will find out. I'll see you then. Mwah.